Alright, so I'm just in St Kilda somewhere now, Fitzroy Street. Hopefully everything's shut and nothing's got to pull out. New tram. Okay, so right now there's a pandemic for coronavirus. There shouldn't be people out there. I'm technically on my way to the corner shop, the dairy, to grab some TP, but all the roads back there were closed, so now I'm unofficially stuck on these roads that I've never been on before. Oh wow, that's a nice looking place. Man, look at this place. It's amazing. Why haven't I been here before? Like pre-pandemic. Probably because it's too far to walk, and Albert Park is just over to my right somewhere. Okay, so I'm not entirely new to this place, so I saw, I believe the guy's name was Wolfie. Not his actual name. I think his actual name is Adam. But he did a video on the CBR 400RR, and he was riding down these streets here, and the first time I saw the video I thought it was in Brisbane, because it was all sunny and nice and hot and stuff, and there was like a big beach there. Too bad it's low tide right now. But yeah, I'm just getting some vitamin D. And had some kid just pointing at me, wondering what I was doing. Let's get a closer look at the beach. Now, about COVID. Hey look, there's a cruise ship out there. Now, a few weeks ago, my office closed, and the weekend before that I actually had a scare. Now it was something really dumb, really stupid. And what happened was I had to buy something from JB Hi-Fi, and instead of being, you know, doing what any normal person would do and get it delivered to your nearest outlet and just pick it up near home, I ordered it from the outlet that had it in stock, and then I jumped on a train and went to central Melbourne, which is like the hub of well, the train lines. Well, it's not the main thing, but it used to be, I think, 100 years ago. Now, when I was there, I did something even stupider. I went down into pretty much the subway area, got Indian food, and sat at a grotty table and ate naan and chicken curry with my hands in a grotty area after touching the table and chairs and all that. Not very smart. And prior to that I was actually like, nah mate, there's nothing wrong, people are still out and about, my work hasn't shut down yet, the cases are still only 100 for a city with 4 million people, which is the entire population of New Zealand. And so nope, it's not a thing. And then after doing this, I actually sat down at home and was like, oh my god, what would happen if I did die? You know, you start thinking about like your family or friends, like all this life that you've lived and everything you'll be throwing away and wasted. You know, life doesn't seem nice at the moment because you've got no money to spend on the things you want to. Like, I'd love to fly to Japan and buy a Sora or a Mark II or Cresta Chaser or anything, S15, but I just don't have the money to do that yet. And you know, when you're like this every day, you're just like, life is bleak, life is bland, you don't really care if you die, and once you're actually close to death, you're suddenly like, well, actually I had a great time. Like in those times where I just didn't care about money or whatever. One thing is that I like Hayao Miyazaki and Joe Hisaishi films and music. And last year at work I was actually listening to an orchestra play Joe Hisashi's music. And then at the beginning of this year he actually came to Melbourne and had the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra play that, and I went along and watched it and enjoyed it. You know, things like this. So that's one little thing which makes me not regret moving to Melbourne. But yeah, let's talk about this bike a little. So this bike is starting to show its dodgy side. This clutch lever is very floppy. What happened was this bike was dropped once, they replaced the levers and all this and that, and for some reason this lever, damn, it's so floppy, didn't get the Loctite bolt, so it's come loose and it's flapping about, and I don't have any tools, and I've tightened it as tight as I can by hand, but of course being by hand it's just going to come out and probably drop the nut on the bottom. And look at this place, it's so nice. So the other thing that the mechanics did is I put this too high, so my hand was way up here when I was trying to change gears. It was giving me massive aches, and I wanted to sell the bike because it's stretching my tendons out. Now the headlight has blown in this, so I'm always riding with the high beams hoping that no one notices. I'm not sure about Australian laws, but in New Zealand you have to have a headlight on all the time on your motorbike, otherwise the police will pull you over and give you a fine. Pretty nice here. Let's just keep on going before I head to the supermarket. And that'll be a perfect place for a date. So I actually did a tour of the F1 stadium. Hear me right now. I'm standing at the Melbourne F1 grounds. Over there you can see the overbridge, sponsored by Pirelli. Right before the lockdown there was the Melbourne Grand Prix. Now we don't have that in New Zealand, and I decided to, well, I was planning to go but it was cancelled, so I decided to take a look at the track while it was empty, and I talked to one of the people at the gate. They said, no mate, it's closed, but I didn't know that Albert Park was the centre of the Melbourne F1. So when I first arrived in Melbourne I was in a hotel in St Kilda, and it was overlooking Albert Park. Well, not really, there were buildings in a way that you could sort of see it, and just about every night I'd walk down to Albert Park or down here to Fitzroy Street and get a burger or Japanese food or takeaways and sit at Albert Park and eat there. And I was like, man, what a lovely place. I took my camera there, took a few photos, and now unfortunately coronavirus hit and the F1 was shut down. About a week later my office was shut down. I had their scare, and now I've been working from home, staying at home this whole time, trying to avoid getting coronavirus. So I've been avoiding going out as much as possible. I've been sitting on the deck for vitamin D. The person upstairs from me has been stomping around, driving me nuts. Look at this church, very nice.